Hello, my name is Malik Carter, and today we'll be talking about arguments. So this is for my philosophical ethics class, Unit 1. We'll be talking about arguments, their formats, what an argument is, what makes an argument logically valid, what makes an argument sound, then the different types of formats you have. So basically what an argument is a statement, a position you make on something or a conclusion that you reach based on certain premises. So these premises can be sort of framed in a way to support said argument, or they can be framed in a way that doesn't support it. And we'll go into what both of those look like. So arguments can be logically valid or logically invalid, meaning that the premises that you provide to lead to said conclusion, in the case of logically valid, they do lead to said conclusion. So the premises that you provide actually support the conclusion that you reach, versus logically invalid, these premises do not lead to the conclusion, in a sense. For an example, arguments can be sound or unsound, meaning that they are or are not supported by like scientific or factual basis. So many arguments, it's pretty easy to kind of figure out whether or not an argument is sound or not, because arguments can be logically valid and be not sound, in a sense, but they can't be logically invalid and sound. So if a sound argument is logically valid, and then but logically valid arguments can also be not sound, in a sense. So it's like logically valid is the basis right there. So basically, for example, one of the forms or one of the frameworks of an argument is just the simple syllogism. Basically, the outline is A is an X, all X's are Y's, therefore A is a Y. For example, Socrates is a man. All men are mortal, therefore Socrates is mortal. So the conclusion, Socrates is mortal, and then you have the two premises that lead to the conclusion. Like you have a true statement, Socrates is a man. How can you prove that men or Socrates is mortal? You say all men are mortal. So you have Socrates is a man, all men are mortal, therefore Socrates is mortal. So that is an example of like the conclusion being Socrates is mortal. You have two premises that lead to said conclusion. And this argument, while it's logically valid, is also sound because Socrates is a man. Was Socrates a man? Yes. Are all men mortal? Yes. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. Bam. So you have a logically valid argument and a sound argument. The second kind of framework you have is modus ponens. The kind of basis for that is if P, then Q, P, therefore Q. That's kind of hard to understand, but I'll give an example. If today is Tuesday, then John will go to work. For example, John goes to work on Tuesday. For example, if the day is Tuesday, then John goes to work. Today is Tuesday, therefore John will go to work. That's modus ponens. Somewhat not as popular as the simple syllogism, but it's still a interesting sort of way to frame an argument. You have the if, it's like an if then, therefore, you know what I'm saying? So the if today is Tuesday, that's if P. So your P is like the day, the day being Tuesday. So if the day is Tuesday is your P, then John will go to work, that's your Q. And then P, you say P again, today is Tuesday, you provide that other premise, and then you have your conclusion, therefore John will go to work. That's like your conclusion, and then you have your premises set up to meet said conclusion. The final framework is modus tollens. So that's more of it's like the negative version of modus ponens. The kind of framework is if P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. That's a little easier to understand, I think. Basically, so you have, I'll give an example. If being the king implies having a crown. Not having a crown implies not being the king. So that's a little easier to understand because it's like you have a kind of a statement and then like the opposite being true makes it like gives you that modus ponens framework. So like if being the king implies having the crown, not having the crown implies not being the king. So there you have like your if P then Q, not Q, therefore not P. So these are arguments, logically valid, sound, and a couple examples. Thank you.